Hi, Geminis, and welcome to your July 2021 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky coming on to talk to you about the energies for your month ahead. I hope you're all feeling really well. I'm excited to look into your energy. Let's see what's coming up for you. Okay, so very much more easy, soft, and giving energy this month. So last month was very chaotic. Okay, we had those eclipses. It was Gemini season. It was really a sink or swim kind of feeling. And I imagine that many Gemini people are coming out of July with a whole new lease on life, or a whole new clear feeling about what it is they want to do with themselves, what they want to sign up for, what they want to experience out of life. It's kind of a really big world change that has come in for Gemini. And this month you're kind of getting acclimated. This feels like a month of acclimation. This also for some Geminis feels like a totally new environment, a totally new climate, like living in a very different region or vacationing and kind of acclimating to that and learning more about themselves through a really big difference or a really big change. Something has come in and something has gone out. I can't actually imagine how much that must be the case for Gemini people because those eclipses last month were really wild. And let's talk a little bit in the general intuitive messages about, the pros and cons of being so eclipsed or being so empowered right now. So people might start to see you differently, and that can be good or bad, Your reputation might be different now. You might have a very different calling, yet still be stuck in the previous output. And that's tough. Like I'm sensing that with the North Node in Gemini, South Node in Sagittarius. For Geminis and Sagittarius people, it's like you know what you now want, or like what the pedestal or the aspiration is, but it might be quite different than what you're currently doing. And there's this sort of like question mark that comes up, like, how do I actually get there? You might actually really enjoy what you currently have, though that might not be harmonious with what you want. So that's a weird juxtaposition that I'm seeing really clearly. And what to do when you're in a situation like that, where you don't, really dislike where you are, or you don't think that where you are is a problem, though you wish you were also somewhere else. There's a need to be a better judge of character, or a need to start to actually be a bit of a judge, okay, and to really understand how things treat you long term. Judgment is in the reverse, which means there's a resistance towards some kind of transformation, or there's an unwillingness to come to a judgment, or to really lay out how something is. Like there's a preference maybe for ambiguity, or a preference for flexibility or fluidity, and lack of identification of something, so that it can perhaps serve more flexible roles in your life. So that to me does feel like a bit of an error right now. We have to really know what it is that we're doing. We have to start to actually get to know the people in our lives as well. Sometimes you have like this thought that someone, like you think you know someone until you don't. You think you know someone's character, and then they do something really unexpected, and it pulls a lot of stuff into question. Like, am I a good judge of character? Am I perhaps projecting on people and not actually understanding who they are? I'm seeing that to be pretty prevalent, but especially I'm seeing that falls through right now. So now we see people's true colors. Now we know the trajectory of a career. Now we know how our identity has been affected by our previous commitments. Now we see all of that. And can we take it? It's kind of a little bit of a Pandora's box situation, where it's like, okay, we have all this information, we know what's going on, but can we actually process it? Can we actually see what we're a part of? Can we actually have the confidence to participate in what we're dreaming of as well? Are we confident in our goals? Are we embracing them? Are we moving toward them? That to me is a lot of what the Gemini experience is, and it gets more creative. Like there's nothing too heavy about it. I know as we're kind of talking about it in this way, it might seem kind of heavy, but there's actually this kind of like, I don't know, lighthearted acceptance of the situation. Like, instead of getting freaked out about it and turning it into an existential crisis, to me, it looks like Gemini, instead is being like, well, it's okay. I just accept that I'm in a situation where I'm not giving it to myself, or I accept that, I'm human and I am actually caught between two goals or stuck between two people or something. And, this happens. Like, everybody goes through this. This is the human condition. I'm not going to freak myself out about it. I'm going to trust the journey, or I'm going to trust the process. And that is, I think, the best piece of advice that I can give any Gemini right now, is to try to zoom out of it. Any kind of existential crisis or any type of big indecision about a goal or a journey, rather than forcing yourself to be on one side or the other, to be in one belief system or another, I would zoom out of it and be like, and I would zoom out of it and I would admire the humanity of your own circumstance. I would admire the actually the lack of commitment here. This is very interesting. I'm getting chills over this, actually. Every reading this month has been this way. It's like so deep and so such a spiritual time. Actually appreciating your lack of commitment, or appreciating that you have left certain spaces open, or that you have done things in a way that gives you an out as well, is kind of very commendable in a way right now. And it won't be forever. By the end of this year, that starts to look more like cold feet, or it starts to become something of a perceived character flaw by other people. But right now, it really can save the day, or you can actually just kind of slip through and move into where you want to be now, okay, due to your commitment issues. I'm kidding. But yeah, Gemini is known for tending to lack in commitment, which, yes, we can certainly say that might mean that they, or some people might perceive that as a lack of loyalty, but in reality, it is sort of a very deep form of intelligence, where there's a knowledge of how the world works, and there's a knowledge of how certain industries or experiences can become unpopular, and at those times it's good to be able to move out. But it's not always a popular character trait, though here I think it can be done appropriately. Any other intuitive messages before we move into the week to week? Everything is going to be okay this month. It's not a grandiose month. It's very light, but you've got the Judgment card and the Empress card and Ten of Cups reversed. To me, that could look like a change in relationship philosophy, a breakup even, or a different context that intimate relationships play in your life. And it's needed. It seems like you need to focus more on yourself, or the focus does not need to be very heavily upon romance or any type of dating, if that's what you are really focusing on. There's got to instead be some type of larger context regarding what you're actually involved in moving into this month. Okay, so try to not compensate with new things or new journeys. Also, there's a need to embrace a new creative outlet, or some type of fire element. So Sagittarius, Aries, Leo people might be good people to have around. You might want to think about how inspired you are feeling through what you're contributing to, and just kind of mull it over. King of Swords, Page of Cups, you're kind of mulling things over, acclimating to things this month, seeing things from new perspectives. It's quite arbitrary. Okay, so let's talk about your week to week, Gemini. Week number 1 of July, you have the King of Swords rooted down by the Empress reversed. So thinking differently about relationships, thinking differently also about how the world supports you. How supported do you feel by your environment? Do you feel that you're within your means right now? Do you feel that you're borrowing from the future? Thinking about expenditures of time, money, and energy is very helpful at that time, because you can really have clarity about it. Week 2, you've got the King of Wands rooted down by Page of Cups. So it's kind of about other people in the second week, about, fire signs and water signs. And if we're looking at that regarding Gemini, like, is the emotional side of you going to come out, or is the humorous, fun-loving side of you going to come out? Like, which part do you want to really pursue? I think humor is really good. There's actually a common bond of humor between those two signs. Like, try to keep things light and humorous. Week 3, you have the Judgment card reversed, rooted down by Ten of Cups reversed. I feel that some of you might be delaying breakups or delaying endings in general. So it doesn't even just mean breakups, but some type of business relationship or some type of bond might need to end, though it could be delayed. So why delay it? It feels like there is a wake-up call being postponed. So we need to really see that if we're doing that. Week number 4, you've got Knight of Wands rooted down by 2 of Wands reversed. I think you have to maybe succumb to some of the healthy desires that are in your life and not get stuck in analysis paralysis. 2 of Wands can be like really strategizing and analyzing. And when it's in the reverse, it's like not taking any action because of indecisiveness. Knight of Wands is about action. So you're called to act. Again, coming from that 3rd week with the sense of like a delay or a postponing or a lack of vision regarding a change that needs to happen. The 4th week requires some type of action. And instead of mulling it over, by this time, by the end of July, we're not so much in mulling or acclimating, we're in action. Okay. So what action do you need to take? What also do you need to do for yourself? Like, what do you need to start enjoying in your life? Like, it feels like Gemini needs something more fun, more enjoyable, and more evocative of their true spirit. So let's talk more about that in your extended reading, Gemini, on Patreon. Let's talk about getting reintroduced to your true spirit and about really moving from a phase of acclimation into action. That'll be linked in the center of your screen and below. I've enjoyed speaking with you all this month, and there will be a lot of content on the channel. If you're new, be sure to hit the subscribe button. And as always, your likes and comments make my day. And let's do this extended now. Geminis, much love. Bye.